back again with the realest and today most informative sports show in the game. Put it on some. Trying to figure out, bro, who truly is the GOAT quarterback. It's a debate that goes on in barbershops throughout our country. It goes on damn daily on the goddamn sports shows on ESPN or FS1. But I don't think they go in depth enough. I don't think they give enough context to who is truly the GOAT quarterback. Football is the ultimate team game. You've heard motherfuckers say that shit plenty of time. But it seemed like today, the NFL and the NFL media wants to market the quarterback almost like the NBA markets the superstar player. We know in the NBA that a superstar basketball player can put his imprint on the game more so than really anybody else in team sports. You feel me? Now, the quarterback in the NFL, yes, that's the most important position. However, motherfuckers be acting like these quarterbacks just out there playing by themselves. Like it's not three facets of the game with offense, defense, and special teams. Like the coach ain't the most important, the NFL coach, or just football coach in general, at any level, doesn't have the most power out of any coaches. You know what I'm saying? So it's so many different things that go into winning. So when I hear folks just definitively say that Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time, I had to tell them, pause, bro. Like, dude done had a lot of help, particularly having what I think is the greatest coach of all time. Particularly having so many great defenses. I tried to give this same type of information to Chris Broussard of The Odd Couple, which is a radio show with Fox Sports. You've probably seen him on Skip and Shannon, Undisputed, and various other shows on FS1. But I called in one time, and they were having some kind of goddamn discussion about can Aaron Rodgers re-enter the GOAT discussion? Now, full disclosure, I'm a Packers fan. If you fuck with the show for real, you've heard me say that I believe Aaron Rodgers is the greatest quarterback of all time. However, when I'm done with this research, if the research shows otherwise, I'll come back on this motherfucker and I will say so. But when I called in to The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and Rob Parker, and I was hitting them with various things, Chris Broussard was trying to basically shut me up. They wouldn't even really give me enough opportunity to really get my point across. You know, I'm gonna let y'all see what I'm talking about right here. Check this out.
Adam in Mississippi. Man, the phones are lit up. Adam in Mississippi. You're on with Chris and Rob.
What's up, man? First of all, I want to commend you brothers on your terrific show and your stance on the NBA, China, and the Kaepernick situation. I love your consistency.
Thanks.
I big y'all up for that, man.
Appreciate that.
But when it comes to the GOAT talk, I truly believe Aaron still has the opportunity to get into the GOAT talk. As the previous caller said, Tom Brady has had the luxury of having the GOAT coach.
But hold on, did you hear what I just said? Belichick has coached 7 years without Brady and made the playoffs twice in those 7 years.
I'm not saying that Brady is not great. So that's definitely their dynamic duo. But with their own defenses, he's had 15 top 10 scoring defenses. Aaron Rodgers has only had 2. The last time he had one, we won the Super Bowl. I'm a Packer fan, by the way.
I got you.
Last time he had a top 10 scoring defense, we won the Super Bowl.
No.
Also, when it comes to his skill guys, everybody likes to talk about him not having receivers, but he's had Gronk, who's the top 5 all-time tight end. Their offense.
They won the Super Bowl without Gronk, too.
Yeah, but he had a top 10 scoring defense that year as well.
No, I get it. Your points are
agree.
valid. Your points are valid. Thanks for the call.
It's about winning. And when I look around the NFL, I recognize that coaches, more than any other sport, any of the major sports, Rob, a coach in football has a greater degree of impact than basketball and baseball.
No doubt about it.
Right?
Well, because they figure out what the scheme is. What are you running? Are you a 4-3? Are you a 3-4? Are you a running team? Are you a passing team? Do you blitz a lot? What's our how do we play football? So
they set the culture.
Exactly.
And I mean, we can just look at it. Bill Belichick, they got injuries all the time. They still win. Andy Reid immediately goes to Kansas City and turns that franchise around.
And immediately loses the big game when
with
it gets
San Francisco.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Frank Reich with the Colts. They lose Andrew Luck. They're still winning. You see the difference that coaches make in the NFL, period.
So as you can see, man, they wasn't really even letting me get my point across. That's why I don't really like that kind of shit. You know what I'm talking about? You don't get a chance to really express yourself. But you get my point. Football is the ultimate team game. If we gonna judge these guys just based off Super Bowls, then we gotta look at a whole lot of other shit to see why a guy like Dan Marino, most people say he's the greatest thrower at the football level, but he doesn't have a Super Bowl championship. Or how the fuck does somebody like Joe Flacco get a Super Bowl? How does a motherfucker like Eli Manning get 2 Super Bowls, but for his career, he basically a 500 quarterback? So what I want to do is do the research. You know what I'm saying? If you fuck with me for free, you know I'm a history teacher, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm a former history teacher. And I just love history. So doing the research and going back and really looking at shit in full context, I love it. So this is what we're looking at, man. This is the criteria. I'm looking at Super Bowl rings / championships. You can't just look at Super Bowls because the NFL, as you may know, hopefully you know if you've been paying attention this damn year, they are celebrating their 100th year. So we're going all the way back to 1919. Shit, the Super Bowl wasn't played until the 60s. You feel me? So we can't just count Super Bowls, you gotta count championships. So I'm looking at Super Bowl ring / championship, Super Bowl / championship appearances. We're looking at the playoff record, playoff passing yards per game, touchdowns in the playoffs, playoff interceptions, playoff passer rate. We want to see what did these guys do in the clutch, in the playoffs when it counted the most. You feel me? Maybe they performed well, but the team didn't. Maybe their defense didn't hold them down. You know what I'm saying? We want to look at that. Of course, we're going to look at the regular season. What was their regular season record? Regular season passing touchdowns and ranked when retired. I like that part because that shows you what was this person doing in their era. Of course, if we're going all the way back, those guys' numbers gonna pale in comparison to these guys' numbers today. But I want to see where did they rank when they retired, and that lets me know how they were in that particular era. Also, regular season interceptions and rank when retired. Passing yards and rank when retired. Regular season passing yards per game. Rushing yards and rushing touchdowns. I want to see, was this guy multifaceted? You know what I'm saying? Was this a quarterback who was able to do some things with his legs as well? Regular season pass rating. MVPs. Is this quarterback a Hall of Famer? And this is the shit I really like. Number of top 10 scoring defenses. As I said previously, and if you paid attention to what I was telling Chris and Rob, guy like Tom Brady spent damn near his whole career with top 10 scoring defense. I want to see how many other quarterbacks had such luxuries or didn't have luxuries like that. Also, number of top 10 rushing offenses. Who were the quarterbacks who had a running game to help them along? We want to look at shit like that. Was their coach a Hall of Famer or not? Again, in football, the coach matters more than any other sport. So we want to look at that. And lastly, notable offensive teammates. All right, particularly skilled guys, but also linemen as well. These are the guys I'm going to be looking at. Now, if you feel like there's somebody I'm leaving out that you think I should research, make sure you go to the Facebook page, put it on something, leave it in the comment, and let us know who you think we need to research. But I'm looking at Rodgers, Brady, Montana, Manning, Marino, Elway, Moon. I'm looking at Moon, some shit y'all don't know about Moon I'm going to hit you with. But we got to look at Moon. Favre, Terry Bradshaw, Johnny Unitas, Drew Brees, Otto Graham, Roger Staubach, Steve Young, Bart Starr, Joe Namath, Randall Cunningham. A lot of folks sleeping on Randall Cunningham. We want to look at Randall Cunningham, dual threat quarterback. Jim Kelly, Sammy Baugh, going all the way back, and Kurt Warner. So I'm looking at a lot of guys. I know the NFL just dropped their 10 quarterbacks on the NFL 100 team. I'm looking at all the guys that they named, and I'm looking at much more. So, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into the first motherfucker I'm looking at. That's Sammy Baugh, going all the way back. Now, personally, just for me, I wouldn't even look at any of these guys. For me, when we talking sports, something about integration, bro. If you not letting everybody participate in the game, how the fuck am I supposed to be able to know if you truly are the best? That's how I feel personally. But again, today is different. It's all about information. We're really taking the opinion out of this shit, and I'm just giving you the facts. Alright? So, I'm going all the way back to Sammy Baugh. 1937 to 1952. He played 16 seasons in the league, all with the Washington Redskins. Alright, he played multiple positions, which I thought was interesting. Quarterback, running back, punter, motherfucker even played defensive back. Shit, man had a game where he had 4 passing touchdowns and he picked off motherfucker 4 times. You feel me? Now, Baugh out his own mouth said he really wasn't a good defensive back. He said that he was really the worst one on the team and that he got all those opportunities to pick off, to get interceptions because they kept challenging him. That comes from his mouth. Not really playoffs during his career. That's something that I found notable in the research. Really how it was back then was they basically just had 2 divisions. And if you won your division, you played for the title. Now, there were some times I saw that there might be multiple playoff games. If there was a tie for the division, then they'll let those teams battle it out for the division crown, and then they'll go ahead and play for the title. But mostly, it's just win your division and you play for the ship. Also, there were only 11 or 12 games throughout his career. So a much shorter season. You gotta take that into account when we talking about these stats. Okay, see, the game has evolved. So we gotta look at all this type of shit. Alright, but Sammy Baugh did win 2 championships, one being in his rookie season. He went to the championship game 5 times. 2 and 3 playoff record, playoff passing yards, he threw for 831 yards. Again though, y'all, this is a different era, different time now, okay? For that time, he doing it big. 138.5 yards per game. Playoff touchdowns, he had 7. Playoff interceptions, he had 8. Playoff passer rating, 73.6. Now, it was hard for me to find his regular season record as a quarterback. I like to use ProFootballReference.com, and they didn't really have that stat for him. I'm assuming that's because he played so many different damn positions. His regular season passing touchdown was 187, and that was number 1 when he retired. So again, that lets you know for his time, he was revolutionary. Alright, in the description below, you'll see I'm gonna put a couple of videos that you can look at and kind of see what he was doing. You hear him speak, hear people speak on his behalf, to see how he was slanging that motherfucker now. Alright, now he wasn't textbook with his delivery or anything like that, but for that time, you could tell that he was something different. But like I said, when he retired, he was number 1 in passing touchdown. Now he's 55th. Regular season interceptions, 203. He was also number 1 in that when he retired. Now he's 27. Passing yards. He threw for 21,886 yards. That's something else he was number one in when he retired. Now he's 98. Regular season passing yards per game, 132.6. Rushing yards. He only ran for 325 yards. But by today's standards, they ain't shit, especially when you got guys like Lamar Jackson going for a rack in a season. 9 touchdowns. Regular season passing rating, 72.2. MVPs. Now, it's what, like I said, you got to go back and study. They didn't even award the MVP award until 1957. Okay, so of course he doesn't have any MVP. He retired in 1952. But he is a Hall of Famer. He went in during the first class of the Hall of Fame. Now, getting to the scoring defense. Hell, they only had about 10 to 12 teams in the league the man's whole career. So instead of looking at top 10 scoring defenses, I chose to look at top 5. And out of his 16 seasons in the league, he had a top 5 scoring defense 9 times, including the number 1 scoring defense in 1945. So for the majority of his career, he had a damn good defense. All right. 1943 was a very weird season. Just want to mention that now. And doing my research, I found that the Eagles and the Steelers combined during that season. All right. So many, if you know your shit, you know that World War II was going on. World War II, 1939, 1945. Our country entered in 1941 after we were attacked by Japan at Pearl Harbor. So in 1943, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Pittsburgh Steelers had so many players that were overseas fighting that they actually combined those teams into one team. Crazy shit. The Cleveland Rams, not Browns yet, the Cleveland Rams basically shut that team down that year for the same reason. They had so many motherfuckers serving in the military. So that just shows you how different the world was at that time, how different sports was. Also, I found that these guys, even the motherfuckers that were here playing, shit, they were working regular jobs in the defense industry. You know what I'm saying? You had all these guys back home on the home front. Shit, you needed them in the factories making the arsenal that was going to be used in war. We've been at war today since 2001, the so-called war on terrorism. And shit, these goddamn football players still making their millions. They ain't doing. They might say salute to the troops and all that shit. But can you fathom your favorite football player? You don't get to see them and shit because they overseas fighting. Like, I know we heard Pat Tillman. Imagine Tom Brady being on some Pat Tillman shit. That's what was going on back then, man. Crazy shit. Anyway, getting back to Sammy Baugh. Sammy Baugh did have a Hall of Fame coach, Ray Flaherty. I hope I'm saying that right. He coached Baugh from 1937 to 1942. All right, so he did have a good coach for his championships. And notable offensive teammates. He had a guy by the name of Bill Dudley. He's a Hall of Famer. He played halfback, tailback, and a little quarterback. Played with Baugh from 1950 to 51. And these were during the last years of his career, but he was a Pro Bowler both of those seasons. Another guy by the name of Cliff Battles. He's a Hall of Famer. Played tailback, fullback, wingback, and defensive back. Played with Baugh in 1937, and in that year, he ran for the most yards of his career. Another guy that he played with, Turk Edwards, Hall of Fame tackle. He played with Sammy Baugh from 1937 to 1940. And lastly, Wayne Milner. He's a Hall of Famer, played in, I assume that's the same thing, tight end back at the time. Played with Baugh from 1937 to 1945. So, had some pretty good teammates on the offensive side of the ball. Pretty damn good defenses. Hall of Fame coach. So you see now, he has solid shit around him. That's the type of shit I'm trying to find out about these guys. All right, he got 2 championships out of it. From everything I've watched and read about Sammy Baugh, again, it seemed like he was revolutionary in terms of the forward pass. As you can see from the stats, again, he was number 1 yards, touchdowns, interceptions, all that shit when he retired. So, he's great. But if you just looked at it in a vacuum and looked at what he did without looking at the context, you wouldn't know shit, he had a good team around him as well. So that's the kind of shit we trying to find. If it's a guy who didn't win a ship like a Marino, I want to look at Marino. When Marino started his career in the 80s, I don't remember that shit. I want to see, why did he not win a ship? Was Marino just not clutch? Did he not have help? Okay? Guy like Terry Bradshaw, shit, he got all those Super Bowls. I want to see, was it Bradshaw really leading the way, or was it that Steel Curtain? You feel me? That's the kind of shit we looking at in this special edition of Put It On Some Quarterback GOAT Resume. You feel me? Fuck with me. One. Go.
Go. Subscribe to our daddy's YouTube channel. He's the best. Hit the like button, turn on the notifications.